tuned, and you've just joined us, you may have missed quite a lot. It's still the continuing coverage dedicated to the activities marking the funeral, the passage of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday at about 4:30 p.m. We've had conversations with the former president's associates and the colleagues from his time in the military, and there's more to come on the program. This time around, we'll be talking with Professor Anthony Kila. He's a Commonwealth Institute Director, Jean Monnet, Professor of Strategy and Development. He also joins us virtually on this very special program. Professor Kila, thank you so much for your time, for coming through on this one.
To be here.
It's been a very somber mood for the past 3 hours or so. So let's start with your reflections, particularly, what your emotions are saying as you, watch activities marking the funeral of a late president, and some of the reflections, of course, that you have heard from his associates so far.
Well, what I think, overall, there are three broad areas to look at when we think of the passing away of President Muhammadu Buhari. There is a personal side, there is an institutional side, and there is a political side. The political side is to consider that this is a man. Think of a boy who grew up to be a soldier, a general, a head of state. To that extent, is a personal inspiration to a lot of people. Is the kind of person you can use as an example that this is how well you can grow, this is how much you can do. If you join as a soldier, if you join as a politician, this is how much you can do in life. On an institutional level, as you can see as head of state, this death is a state affair. There is a whole 7 days to recognize his death. I am in Abuja today to start the National Constitutional Summit, and we've had to postpone it. It was due to start from yesterday. It has been postponed to start to tomorrow, in honor and respect of the passing away head of state. And I think it must be said at this point that the current president, Bola Tinubu, has gone out of his way to make this a state affair. I think he has done more than he needed to do anyway. So that says something about him. I don't want to sound bad about anybody, but I doubt Buhari would do much if the situation were reversed. It's good to say this thing. The family and friends of Buhari have lost a father, a friend, and, somebody dear to them. But the nation, millions of people, those who supported him and those who were shouting, "Say Baba," when he was campaigning, I do not think they'll miss him so much, because the man that they imagined as this leader was going to be a symbol that would fight corruption, insecurity, and, bring good governance to them and improve their life. I think Buhari is a promise that was not kept in terms of politics. And to that extent, is a mixture of a great personal life, but not a very great public life. A promise not kept, as I said. And this is a lesson for present and future leaders, to be very careful of how we lead our lives. I think the partisan politics took away a lot from the magic of the persona called Buhari.
Again, there are some other things he's done right, which is seen to have been done right, which I also want you to comment on, which every other person can build on. He's been credited with the issue around the passage of the PIA bill, and today we have the Dangote refinery and the rest of them, although our own public refinery may be sold according to the CEO of the NNPCL. The issue about electoral reform as well, although he denied assent for about 3 to 4 or 5 times, eventually assented to the Electoral Act. So those are some positive, don't you think, that we can look at as well for the man who has shaping up perhaps our electoral jurisprudence?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is more than what you've listed. There is also a lot of things, even without getting to power. It is not easy for one person to be seen as Mr. Anti-Corruption and Mr. No-Nonsense. I mean, those are very valuable intangibles. So, you know, the lists are longer than you make it. It's just that when you do a summary, you want to look at what is good, bad, and ugly. You know, I think his personal life is a very great life because he has achieved everything he could achieve. I mean, he was also a charismatic leader. I do not think that in terms of politics, he can be a model. Let's put it that way. You know, he can be a best practice. I think partisan politics took a lot away from him. But, you know, you're right. There are things he's done. It's not very easy. Let's put it this way. It is not very easy to be in government for 8 years and not do anything at all. No matter how you load any Nigerian in office, it is difficult to find somebody who's been head of state Nigeria and not find out some good things they've done. I think Buhari did a lot of things. I think Buhari tried his best. I just believe that while it is good to respect the dead, it is even more dutiful to be truthful and say his best was not good enough. And I say this not to attack the dead, but to inspire the living, so that people can know that when they are dead or whenever they do, the truth will be said about them. And when you are given an opportunity to serve Nigeria, you need to do your absolute best. I think that that's an important thing that we must say to ourselves, because otherwise we risk just singing praises and losing the true focus.
All right. We must thank you very much, Professor Kila. There's so much to talk about as far as the late former president is concerned. We could also reflect on his achievements in the area of, infrastructure development in the country. But we must anchor at this point, and thank you so much for coming through on this particular one. And we thank you also for your patience. We've been talking with Professor Anthony Kila, Professor of Strategy and Development, and also Commonwealth Institute Director, and Jean Monnet Professor. Thank you so much, Professor Kila, for your time.
Thank you for having me.